And we are live. I'm here with Lexi Rook. Lexi, I can't believe I haven't spoken to you before.
I know, yeah.
I really wanted to catch up with you ages ago when you fought on Cage Warriors Academy Southeast, but it was one of those cards that I think had about 150 fights on the card, and I was struggling to get round to everyone. So Thank you for coming on today. It's so nice to finally get to speak to you.
That's all right. Thanks for having me.
It's lovely to have you. And I'm also super excited about the fact that there's some regional shows coming back and you're going to be on one of them, UKFC in October. I haven't seen a date on the poster. What date is it? Do you know?
I think it's the 3rd of October, but I'm pretty sure it's the 3rd of October, but that's where I'm headed for anyway.
I'm super excited about that show coming back. I'm excited about all the shows coming back. We've got Celtic Gladiator this weekend, Pro Bellum's in September. It must be even more of a relief for you and all of the fighters to have some shows coming up.
Yeah, I can't wait, to be honest. I was losing my mind during lockdown. I was just thinking, is life ever going to go back to normal? But
yeah,
no, it's good. It's nice. Like, we're lucky up here, really, because like I know there's a lot of shows down, like more down south way, that aren't back up and running yet. So we're lucky up here, really, because we've got 3 or 4, like you said, Celtic this weekend, UKFC. I think Almighty are planning on in November or something. So we are lucky. We're getting more back to normal up here than down south, I think.
And you train at Aspire Gym, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you training with some of the guys there. I've seen the training photo with hot chocolate. That must have been cool. Training with Danny Roberts.
Yeah, like I'm honestly so grateful for the people I have around me to train with. It's unbelievable. I never thought I would be in a position where I can train with champs like that. So yeah, Danny's always in the gym. Obviously we've got Phil and Dean, and then got like Aaron Robson, Liam McCracken, Marlon, all the lads like that. And then you got Dakota, obviously elite level striker. Yeah, there's loads. There's too many to list, really. There's so many good people to train with there.
And Dakota, is that Dakota who's fighting on the Celtic Gladiator show this weekend? Oh, we've lost the sound there.
Sorry, this has gone really fuzzy.
Yeah, it has. Okay, I think we're back to normal. Oh no, I can't hear you.
So. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Okay, listen, fingers crossed it'll stay good. Yeah, I was just saying, is that Dakota who's fighting on the Celtic Gladiator card this Saturday?
Yeah, so we got Dakota's that one, and Marlon, he's obviously from Dublin, but he does a lot of training with us. Scott Johnson as well. I think that's it. I might have missed someone out.
So some great guys, and all of you trying to pack in some fights. That's great to see, because it was fine for them to say that pros could go back, but for me it's really nice to see the amateurs being able to fight on cards now as well and train a bit. I don't know officially how much training people should be doing, but I'm assuming that you're all getting enough in to have a fight.
Yeah, we're doing what we can and what we need to train ready for them. So yeah, it is amazing to be back in camp and training for like an end goal. So
yeah. And let's talk about the girl you're fighting, Jenny Kivioja. I hope it's something like that. So she's fought from her record. Yeah, from her record, it looks like she's purely fought on the IMAFs, but she's got a 5-4 record. She's fought at featherweight and lightweight at IMAF, and obviously this fight's at bantamweight. She's probably going to have the size advantage because you sometimes fight at flyweight as well. How are you expecting that fight to go? How do you see that matchup for you?
To be honest, like obviously she is going to be the bigger girl out of both of us. She's quite a fair bit taller than me. I think she's 5'11". And obviously she has fought at higher weights, but obviously at IMAF it is same day weigh in, and you do have to weigh in every single day and fight every day. So I understand, like sometimes you do go to the division above. So yeah, I will be the smaller looking fighter, but I don't have any doubts in my mind. The fight's going to go. I see it going my way and the way I want it to go. We're doing all the necessary training we need now to prep for it. Obviously, she's more of a striker. She's got a few head kick KOs in her IMAF past. So yeah, I'm excited. Actually, I'm excited to be against, to fight an opponent who's, she's game. She's a good striker. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
And you're an IMAF veteran yourself. Tell me about that experience. One thing that I think definitely the Swedish do well. I'm not sure if any of the other Scandinavian countries do it, but yeah, somebody told me that the government pay for the cost of the fighters to go to IMAF. That's something I'd love to see happen in the UK. But as someone who's been to a couple of IMAFs yourself, can you tell me about what that experience is like?
Oh, IMAF's brilliant. Like, there's a lot of mixed reviews on it. But I had the best experience ever going to the Europeans and the Worlds. To be honest, it was the main reason I moved up here and got involved with the team at Aspire, because just everyone who went to IMAFs, there was just a really good team vibe, good team spirit, like-minded athletes just wanting to train hard and work towards their fights and that. So as for the funding side of it, obviously it is quite tough being an amateur and having to find like 1,500 to $2,000 to go and to fight at the Worlds. And sometimes you get there, you fight, and you don't make it through to the next stage. So you only end up having one fight, which is frustrating. But I don't think you can I don't have any negatives from it really at all. Like even in the Europeans, I fought only once and took my first loss, but I probably learned way more from that than anything else. So yeah, I think IMAFs for up and coming amateur athletes, I think especially women as well, because obviously the UK, we are lucky, we do have a lot of shows and it is growing more for females. But I think IMAF is a really good opportunity for female fighters to go and get the cage experience, get the cage time, and also like it is just I think it really prepares you for your professional career as well, because there's a lot of broadcasting. You on your walkouts, you've got cameras in your face. And it's all a bit like, whoa, what's this? Because it's different to the UK shows. Obviously, you don't find out who you're fighting until you get there, so you've got to be prepared for anything. You've got to weigh in every day. So there's a lot of aspects that go with it that I think really contribute towards. It's almost like a dress rehearsal for your pro career, really. And obviously, like if you do struggle to get matchups in the UK, it's a great. My division was just chocker. There was like 15 to 20 girls in the bantamweight division. So, providing you do go through to each round, you can end up having like 5 or 6 fights that week. So, I think it's an amazing opportunity.
I love it, especially like you say, for girls and for guys in the small weight classes that like struggle with matchups on the regional scene. Sometimes there's about 4 or 5 of you in the straw weight division as a guy, or as a girl. All of the people that are in your weight classes and who you're likely to come up against. And if a matchup falls through for a girl, I always say this, it's so much harder for you to get a late minute replacement, because there's just so fewer of you that it's just harder to get a decent number of fights under your belt, and that's through nobody's fault. But that's why I like the IMAF tournament especially for women and for the lower weight guys. And I think it's awesome that you can't get fixated on your opponent, which I'm sure is just so easy to do, but to not know who you're getting until the day is pretty cool, really, and a good experience.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think sometimes I think people focus too much on their opponents. They're, become a little bit obsessed. And I think, if that opponent does pull out, which it does happen, like you potentially could have someone who's a completely different fighter step in that week, and then, you spent so much time prepping for that one thing that, it changed. So I think, as long as you've got the confidence and the belief and the faith in your training, your camp, your team and your coaches, what you've done enough to go in there. And at the end of the day, you've just got to deal with what comes at you in the cage as well. You can prepare as much as you like, but you've got to adapt to each scenario, each situation that comes up. So it's not also pre-planned.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I also like it when people want to get a good number of amateur fights under their belt before they turn pro. I feel like a lot of people say it, but like to really test yourself against the best that's out there when it doesn't matter so much, because as soon as you turn pro, that record's wiped clean. How many fights ideally would you, I'm assuming that you want to turn pro, Lexi, but how many fights would you like on your amateur record before you make that step?
I've had 9 MMA fights so far. So I'm 7-2 now. Ideally, obviously I've got this next one coming up. Ideally, I'd like 2 more, maybe 3 more this year. And then I'll definitely look into going pro after that. Yeah, just going to see how the next few fights go, really, because obviously, like I changed teams at the beginning of this year, so and then the whole lockdown situation happened, so I haven't really, I only feel like now I've managed to train full time with the team and with the coaches. So yeah, we've definitely got a lot more work to do together. But yeah, pro is definitely in the pipeline in the near future. But I'm not in a rush. I'm everything in good time. I just, like you say, I want to get as much experience as an amateur as possible.
And what's the long-term plan?
Long-term plan, UFC, definitely.
100%. I can see you there for sure. It's so I think uncertain for everyone at the moment, not knowing when these shows are going to be, if they'll be able to get on them. People who wanted to pack in 2 or 3 fights this year, like it's just a lot of it is so out of your hands. Like, how do you deal with that?
To be honest, I think you just got to take each day as it comes, haven't you? And just keep working towards your goal. Like, my goal's never changed, no matter what, how locked down the world became. My plans never change. My goals remain the same. You just have to adjust sometimes to certain things. Like moving to Liverpool, I had to, again, like, up sticks, move, find somewhere to live, find another job, like source of income alongside training. So you just adapt. You just think, okay, well, this problem's arisen. What's the solution to it? Okay, let's do this, or let's try this. And you just got to keep going and keep doing what you like is humanly possible, really. So
yeah. So what are you doing as a day job?
So I work in a restaurant at the moment. I work 5 nights a week, which works out pretty well because I do a lot of my training in the mornings and in the daytime.
Right.
And then there's like 2 nights of the week where I don't work, so I can also get some training in those evenings as well. So yeah, just work around that, really. Hospitality is a bit mental at the minute with this whole discount scheme going on, so it's testing physically and mentally, definitely patience testing. But yeah, it's just one of them, innit? It pays my bills and it allows me to train and get closer to turning professional, so it just has to be done.
Yeah. Are you not exhausted doing like quite a physical job in the evenings on top of all that training?
I have my moments, yeah. But to be honest, like, I think when it's when you view it as like, okay, I've got to get through this shift because, you know, it's providing me my house where and my training, and you know, it's allowing me to have to live like an athlete every day. You just got to change your mentality and your outlook on it. I do have days where I think, oh my god, I'm absolutely exhausted. But to be honest, a lot of I've changed a few things. Like obviously my nutrition, like I'm getting my weight down for this fight, so fueling my body with the right nutrition. It's not just to make weight; it's also to make sure I've got the energy to keep going through the training and then into the shifts in the evening at work and stuff. It's like nutrition has a big part to play in it, because I could probably eat a lot more than like I am at the minute, because I am running around the restaurant in the evening burning more calories than I, you know, normally would anyway. But I think it's important to stick to my plan and, you know, fuel my body properly, because otherwise you just get run down. So, but yeah, it's not.
Have
It's
you
not
got
too bad.
a nutritionist on board with you to help you with that stuff?
Usually I've worked with Yanis in the past, Mr. Sport, but actually
Oh
at the
yeah.
minute I'm sort of just doing my own thing with my nutrition at the moment. Obviously he taught me a lot, and I learned a lot from him. And via my own research, I've been doing a lot of research into training for nutrition for female hormones and female cycle and everything as well. So it's just trial and error at amateur as well. I think it's important for me before I turn professional to do all these little things and see what works for me and see what doesn't, and you know, decide who I want to be working with when I do turn pro. And so at the minute, no, I haven't got anyone specifically working with me. It's just I'm just kind of doing it on my own at the moment.
You sound so mature. I can't imagine me being like that grown up when I was your age, just like moving somewhere, getting a job to support myself, like reading everything about nutrition to get myself like on track. It's mind blowing to me.
It's just got to be done, isn't it? Well, say that I'm 26 on Saturday, so I'm getting older.
That's still very young to me, Lexi. So one of the questions that I had in from someone who couldn't watch live but sent it to me just via DM, wanted to know, who's your biggest inspiration in the sport?
My biggest inspiration. That's a hard one. To be honest, yeah, I used to always think, like, when people ask me this question, like, oh, who's my favorite UFC fighter, or you know, someone like that. But to be honest, my inspiration, like, it's changed over the years. I think my family for me is like my biggest inspiration. You know, like my little sister, she plays golf and she's looking to turn professional in the golf industry as well. So, you know, seeing her work a job and train, do all her golf and sport and training as well, like that to me is inspirational. You know, my brothers and my mum and my dad, like, just to make my family proud and to prove to them what I'm doing is all going to be worth it in the long term, is a big motivation for me. And also, obviously, everyone's aware, Jay Shepherd recently passed away. He was one of my main inspirations to get into MMA and to really push myself in the industry. He motivated me every single day, inspired me every single day. You know, his story of how he turned his life around, and you know, he just lived his life to the fullest as a fighter, as well as, you know, just normal life. Just that to me is a massive inspiration. And obviously now, you know, he's not with us anymore. It inspires me even more so now to do what I'm meant to be doing. You know, I'm on this pathway, and I believe I was put on this pathway through different, you know, for different reasons and through different things that have happened. So yeah, like I don't really look at many UFC fighters or pro athletes and think, yeah, they really inspire me. I tend to feel more inspired by the people that are around me every day. And obviously, like the people in the gym that I train with every day, you know, they're all champions in their own rights and own ways, and they inspire me every day. You know, when you're not feeling too good and that, and you just force yourself to go to training or go to the gym, and then you see those people and they give you that energy. You think, oh yeah, this is, you know, I'm just having one of them mornings or whatever, and before you know it, you're smashing training on the mats with them. So yeah, I think for me the inspiration comes more from the people I have around me than than the big names and that.
I think that's so important as well, to have good people around you that you can trust, people who can advise you, especially as a fighter. Just your natural instinct is always to say yes to everything, yes to every fight, yes to every opponent, because you should believe that you can beat anyone. Whereas I feel like a coach is there to say that's not the right thing for you right now, or, you know, that kind of thing. So I think it's really important for you to have a team that you trust around you.
Yeah, definitely.
So the UKFC card is at the beginning of October. Do you think it will be possible to fit in another fight this year?
Yeah, definitely. I want to, once I secure this fight, win this fight, ideally I'd like a shot at the title. I'm not sure if it's vacant or if it's taken at the minute. Right. I'd like to end the year with a belt. Yeah, definitely. But if not, obviously just any other fight will do. I just want to fight as regularly as possible. And obviously, like, the year's been quite mental. It's had a lot more downs than ups. So the fact that we can go back to fighting and, you know, end the year on a positive is a massive thing. So yeah, ideally I'd like 2 more, if not 3 more by the end of the year.
Wow. Okay. that's a lot of shows you got to find.
Yeah.
Although Celtic Gladiator did say if this weekend's a success, they might think of putting on one a month. So I think that would be amazing. That's really got me excited for the fact that I might have at least one show a month.
Yeah.
We'd also love to have you back down south, Lexi, on a show down here.
I'm actually going down south tomorrow morning. I'm going because my birthday weekend, so I'm going to go spend some time with my family. But yeah, I wouldn't mind fighting down there. But obviously, like I said, it just depends when the shows are back on and that. So yeah, I love to fight Cage Warriors Southeast. That was one of my favourite shows to fight on, actually.
That's my favourite show as well. I'd love to see you back on that one.
Yeah, no, I'd be down for it. I'm not fighting at flyweight anymore, so it'd be a bantamweight one. But yeah, I'm sure we can sort something out.
So that was another question I was going to ask you, actually. So the move up to bantamweight is a permanent move in your eyes now?
Yeah, for me, I think especially at amateur, you know, if I want to be fighting regularly, you know, and staying fit and strong and healthy, then to cut into flyweight all the time is just a little bit too taxing physically for me. So a lot of people think I'm smaller than I am, but I do walk around quite heavy. I walk around at like,
how tall are you?
68, 70 kilos. I'm 5'7".
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're quite tall.
So yeah. So getting down to fly was it is possible, and I have done it multiple times. You know, and I felt all right when I've done it. I haven't, you know, had any horrific experiences too much. Well, I had one, but I just think I'm just better at bantamweight. I feel healthier. I feel stronger. You know, I don't kill myself trying to get down to that weight. And you know, while there's no like, there's just not a need to do it for me. I don't think, like, you know, I can handle myself well at bantam, and yeah, I'm excited to see how I get on in that division. So.
And if you're talking about 3 fights between October and the end of the year, it doesn't sound very pleasant to be cut into flyweight 3 times in that kind of a time period.
Yeah, definitely. I think because the thing is as well, once, you know, I'm not far off bantam now anyway, to be honest, but once I'm down at that lower walk around weight, it is very easy for me to just go, right, yeah, 61, okay, fight again in 5 or 6 weeks, and then again in another 7 weeks or whatever. Whereas with fly, it's just that little bit too far for me to go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely think, and I've heard a lot of people a lot more well informed than me talking about how they don't think that amateurs should be cutting the same amount of weight, especially when people are advising you to pack in as many fights as you can in your amateur career.
Yeah.
You don't want like 10 weight cuts in a year. That's just like horrendous for your body, and you're not even being paid for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing. I think, to be honest, I think especially, like, I don't want to sound like a preachy feminist, but for women it is, you know, it is a lot, it does come with a lot more issues. Like for me, every time I've cut to flyweight, I've ended up on antibiotics for a kidney infection afterwards.
Really?
Like without fail every time. Yeah. And it's not necessarily the same for all women. I know women that can cut a lot of weight, and to be honest, I did, you know, I was cutting like 13 to 14 kilos over like a 7 or 8 week camp, but the last little like water cut that I was doing, just my body just doesn't agree with it. And you know, I don't want to have to sabotage my health just for the sake of some amateur fights. I'd rather just go up a division. At the end of the day, like I trust my, like I said earlier, I trust my team and my coaches and my training and myself to do what I need to do in fights. The fact that I'm 4 or 5 kilos up a weight to what I was doesn't really play on my mind at all. So.
Yeah, I did the Lockhart and Leith nutrition course and weight cutting course over in Dublin a couple of years ago, or last year maybe. And George Lockhart was saying when he first started working with women, he couldn't believe just like everything that he'd learned about the science of weight cutting just didn't work when it came to women. And just like it is as well all about where you are in your cycle, and there could be points in time where you're doing everything to the letter that worked last time and it just will not come off.
Yeah, I think it depends. Like there is a massive difference between when it comes to men and women cutting weight. You know, I can cut as much as a male fighter might cut, but it is detrimental to my health. It does affect me. And I think if I want to be going after the Saturday night fight, if I want to be back in the gym on Monday, back to work, I don't want to be on antibiotics or suffering with this, that and the other because I've killed myself trying to weight. So I just think, you know what, you got to do what's right for your own personal, haven't you? So
yeah. And what about your job when it comes to like deep into camp? Are you working up until presumably you take like some time off before the fight?
I normally, if I'm fighting on the Saturday, I normally take I'll stop working on like the Wednesday will be like my last shift.
Oh my God.
Because my bills don't pay themselves. So until I start getting paid, you know, to fight, unfortunately it's just one of them. You just have to knuckle down and get it done. But I do have amazing bosses and colleagues that are very supportive of what I do, which obviously I'm really lucky and grateful for. So kind of cross that bridge when it comes to it. I feel like this time it won't be so bad because I am only going to bantamweight. You know, I am confident that I'll be feeling a lot stronger and healthier within myself to be able to carry out the work that needs to be done. I don't feel like, you know, once before when I cut to flyweight, I did take the whole week off work because I just thought I can't, more mentally really, because working in hospitality with the public is very mentally demanding. Like I said earlier. So when you're cutting weight and, you know, you're not on any carbs, you're water loading, like it's just sometimes you just think, do you know what, I need to do without that. But I don't know what's going to happen this time really. I just guess I'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. But my bosses are aware of what I do, and you know, like I said, they're really supportive. So I don't want to just bail out on them as much as fighting is my main focus and priority. I'm, you know, still part of their team and that, so team player.
Not even just like the weight cutting aspect, but I imagine like the last few weeks of camp before you taper off, like when you're doing the real hard graft, like I imagine that's really hard to be doing, you know, those kind of sessions on top of working as well. I reckon that would be the most exhausting part.
Yeah, it is. It does. Yeah, it is exhausting towards the end of camp, but I feel like that's where, you know, like training and fighting comes into everyday life. You know, you have to dig deep sometimes in normal life, not just in the cage or on the mats. So, you know, you just think, right, okay, you know, I've got 3 more shifts left this week, or I've got this much time left to do this, and, you know, just knuckle down and get it done, just because, you know, that's just life, isn't it? Just gotta be done.
So what are you doing for your birthday weekend when you come back down? Have you got any special plans?
I'm just having loads of time with my family, really. Like, obviously I don't see them a lot now. I live up in Liverpool, so I speak to them every day, but it's not the same. So
No.
we're gonna go out for a meal on the Saturday. Obviously I'm 6 weeks away from fighting, so I can allow myself a little meal out with the family, but obviously I'll be taking all my prep for all the other days. But yeah, just gonna chill out, really. Obviously I'll be training because I am in camp, so I've got my sessions planned out with my coaches that I'm going to do down there while I'm there, just solo stuff in the gyms, and you know.
Where will you be training when you're back down here?
So my family live in Eastbourne, so I'll just be going to one of the little local gyms there,
Okay.
to continue like my strength work I've been doing with Dan Mitten. Obviously, like running, pad. I've got some pad work. Got some people down there I can hit pads with and stuff. And I don't think there's anywhere down there to necessarily grapple or wrestle or do any actual contact training down there. So it'll all be pretty much solo stuff, but
yeah,
can still get a lot of grafting doing things like that. So yeah,
it's a bit of a tough time, isn't it, for like where normally anywhere nearby would be open to having visitors to come and roll with them. Like it's just such a strange time still with the COVID. Some places aren't open, some places aren't doing contact, like any kind of contact work at all, and those that are kind of nailed down in who they can have in there and stuff. So it's a bit of a shame that
it's frustrating as well, because a few of the lads that I used to train with in Eastbourne, you know, they've got a gym like Dan Hastings, Novo, Alex Salisbury's gym, Novo JJ, and obviously First Gem that was in Eastbourne. I think it's changed names now, but yeah, it's frustrating because there are like gyms and stuff that I could go to, and there are people that I could train with, but they're not allowed to open yet. So it's I don't know. It's just one of them, innit? It's just weird. You just got to. I'll just see what's available when I get down there, because you know, there might be more than I think, or might be able to get some sessions in. I don't know yet. We just have to wait and see.
I love your attitude. Whatever I ask you about, you're like, I've just got to suck it up. That's life. Just got to get on with it.
Yeah. One thing my mum always said to me, she was like, you know what, like, whenever I used to like get frustrated or upset or moan about stuff, my mum was always like, you know what, welcome to the world, like the adult world. That's how it is. You either deal with it. Like, moping doesn't get you anywhere, does it? People just moan or mope, and it doesn't actually sort the situation out, does it? So you have to just find the best possible way to deal with things and crack on.
Yeah, and there's a quote that I love, and it's like, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. And I think it's like so true that, you know, winners kind of just get on with stuff and get it done. One last question before we go, that my editor asks every single person that comes on if they could change one rule in MMA, what would it be? And Tom, who I also work with, has said, is it Peter Knox that has asked this question? And it is.
What's the one rule I could change in MMA?
Yeah, if you could change one rule, what would it be?
Oh, that's really hard.
Lots of people want to bring headbutts back.
That's funny. Nah, I'm not about the headbutt life. I don't want to do that. That's really difficult.
It is quite hard. Cole Prince
God.
wants to allow knees to the head in amateurs. How do you feel about that?
Actually, yeah, I do agree. Not necessarily agree with that fully, but I can see why. I think elbows should be allowed in amateur.
Yeah.
I think elbows should definitely be allowed in amateur because, like, I don't see. I know you can cut more with them, but I don't know. I think elbows should be allowed. Like, if you want to, if especially if you're fighting, most people fight because amateur because they have the long term goal of turning professional, and when you turn professional, all of a sudden you can throw elbows. I don't see what the difference is. Like, obviously, I suppose it's better when you're getting paid if you walk away with a big slash on your face, but. I'll have to think about that. I reckon I'll think of a better one than that and have to get back to you. But yeah, elbows at amateur, ideally, I'd be happy with.
Are elbows something you're looking forward to throwing in your first pro fight?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me as well, like, because I do like clinch work and cage wall wrestling. I think there's a massive opportunity for me there to be using my elbows, and at amateur it's frustrating because I can't. So and on the ground as well, there's been a few times where I've been in positions where I think, oh, I wish I could throw an elbow here, but I can't. So, yeah, obviously I am looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to the day I receive one. Obviously one day that'll happen, but yeah.
Speaking of big cuts, what do you think of Paige Van Zandt going to bare knuckle boxing?
Do you know what? I actually I've read her autobiography and I think she's she's an amazing woman, but I kind of feel like I just hope she's doing this bare knuckle boxing for herself, because a lot of content she's put out is sort of suggesting that she's doing it to prove something, or to sort of for other people, saying, oh, you just think I'm a pretty face and I'm going to show you all, prove you're wrong and stuff. And I think like it doesn't matter how many people would say anything like that to me, I wouldn't go into bare knuckle boxing. So I don't know. I just hope she's doing it for the right reasons, because for me, like, I'm in love with MMA as a sport. I don't have any interest in going to do bare knuckle boxing.
I'm glad
even
to
if
hear
it is
that.
MMA or anything else. I just think, like, I want to stick with MMA because I love MMA. If a time ever came where I wasn't happy within the promotion I was fighting for, then I'd look at other options. But I'd look at other options within the industry. I wouldn't really look at things like that. But yeah, hopefully she's doing it for her own personal reasons, and she good luck to her, I suppose. I just think it's don't know, it's one of them, innit? I think I personally don't think it's a good idea, but she can. Yeah, we'll have to see, won't we?
I find it insane that promotion has enough to pay her. I just can't see it, like their pay-per-view events selling enough to be paying her what they claim to be paying her. So I hope she ends up getting whatever she's been promised, because it's like you say, she doesn't have to prove she's tough to anyone. She's proved that in the UFC, and
Definitely, yeah.
Anyway,
and if you ever get a chance to like read her book as well, like, she's been through a hell of a lot of trauma, as a lot of people have. Obviously, a lot of fighters have. That's half the reason they go into it, isn't it? But I think that what she's been through, and where she's got herself, and what she's done for women in the sport, I think is enough. Like, personally, I don't think she needs to necessarily go and do this, but who am I to say? She can do what she likes.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I will read her book now, actually. I didn't realise that she had one out.
Yeah, it's good.
while we're recommending books, Paddy Houlihan's book, The Hooligan, that's my favourite autobiography of all time. Even if you don't like MMA, it's a brilliant read. So yeah, put that one on your your reading list.
I'll put that on my list. I've got about 5 books I'm meaning to be reading at the minute, but yeah, I'll definitely put it on my list.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Lexi. I'm so glad I finally got to speak to you. I'm really excited to see that you've got a fight lined up. I wish you all the best with camp and a lovely birthday weekend.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been nice talking to you.
Oh, great. And I hope you'll come back on afterwards and tell us how it went, and feel like Cilla Black on Blind Date now. Come back next week and tell us all about it. But I'd love to have you back on. Brilliant. Thanks so much for your time, Lexi. Take care.